Greetings, booktubers, and welcome to Sunday Comics. Greetings, booktubers. Welcome back to Grammaticus Books. Welcome to a Sunday Comics edition of Grammaticus Books. And it is an unusual one because today we're not talking about a particular comic book. We're not talking about a particular comic book character. And instead, what we're going to talk about is a comic book museum. The Billy Ireland Museum, located on the campus of The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. And the Billy Ireland is, quite simply put, the world's largest collection of cartoon and comic book art in existence on the face of planet Earth. The Billy Ireland has over 67,000 comic books, 300,000 cartoons, and more than 2.5 million comic book strips that are in its archives, being stored there under archival conditions with temperature and humidity controls. Now, the Billy Ireland Museum consists of three different parts. It has a public reading room where the public can go into it, and there's all types of materials to read. It has the archives, which are not open to the public, but from the reading room, you can contact a curator and request any type of material out of the archives, which they'll bring to you and you can view there. And then the third part, which is the important one to us here today, is they have a museum of comic book and cartoon art that you can tour that's open to the public and it's free. Now, I have done a video on the Billy Ireland Museum previously back in February of 2024, and I got permission from the museum to videotape their collection, and they have a permanent collection that's on display in their museum, and then they have a rotating or visiting art display that they have there as well, and that changes up periodically, the rotating display. And I'll link the permanent display, the video I did of the permanent display, down in the description below. I highly encourage you to go check it out. So why am I doing another video on the Billy Ireland? Because I had a friend of mine who came up last week who wanted to tour the museum. He drove up from Cincinnati. I took him over to the Billy Ireland. We went through the permanent display, which is just phenomenal. So I'm taking my friend through the permanent display, and then we get to the rotating display, and my jaw just dropped open because it was phenomenal. It was the collection of Larry Ivy. This is some promotional material here from the library for the Lone Crusader, Larry Ivy. He was a very famous collector back in the 1950s and the 1960s. And the Billy Ireland has his materials in their rotating display right now until May 4th. And he specialized in collecting a material from the Golden Age artists. And one of the things that they had up there was a collection of artwork from the Flegels. Now, the Flegels were a group of comic book artists, a bullpen of artists who were working at EC Comics. Yes, that world famous comic book company back in the 1950s, who were some of the greatest comic book talent to ever be assembled in one place ever. And that is not an exaggeration. And the name the Flegels was given to this bullpen of artists over at EC by Harvey Kurtzman, the editor of EC Comics. And this was just a murderer's row of comic book artists there over at EC in the 1950s. You had Al Williamson, Wally Wood, Frank Frazetta, Roy Krenkel, Angelo Torres, and others who are working there. I mean, it was just a phenomenal bullpen of artists, and they have their original artwork and some of their finished artwork up there on display, along with a bunch of other types of collection pieces that Larry Ivy had collected, including a Batman #2, Superman #12, and a bunch of other great Golden Age comic books that you can just look at, and ephemera, toys, and other types of miscellany for Superman and Batman and Flash Gordon that are on display as well. So I had to break out my iPhone and start videotaping this stuff in order to bring it to you guys here on the camera. It was just unbelievable artwork. When you look at the artwork from the Flegels and you're looking at the original pages that they worked on, that they touched with their hands, that they directly applied the inks and pencils to, it is just jaw-dropping. It's stunning. These are people who are true geniuses, true masters of art, who are working on this graphic art back in the 1950s. And I'm gonna do the old man thing. It just so far surpasses the quality of the art that's being produced and 90% of the stuff that gets turned out today in graphic and sequential art. It is just absolutely amazing. Look at their mastery of cross-hatching, their use of cross-hatching, their use of their other inking and shading techniques. Look at their mastery of form and figure. their knowledge of human anatomy, their ability to set up a dynamic posing and dynamic light and shade, their layouts for the entire page, their layouts for the panels. These are people who are absolutely artistic geniuses. And again, pause that camera and take a minute to study it and really admire this artwork because it's one of a kind. Now, that said, I'm giving a tour of the museum as I'm trying to film this stuff, so I couldn't just stop and ignore my friend and concentrate and go as slow as I wanted to with my iPhone. So it's moving a little quick, but again, make full use of that pause button there on the video in order to pause it and take a look at this stuff. And with that, I've talked long enough. I'm going to shut up and we'll just go right into the video of the traveling exhibit here with Larry Ivy and some other materials that were on display. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, that was it. That was the traveling display, the portion of it that I was able to film. If you have an interest in seeing it, it's free. It's on the campus of Ohio State University, and it's there until May 4th. And with that, I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'm going to say take care, be safe, and I will catch you guys next time.